Everyone. Welcome to the webinar. So thank you so much for joining. We're just going to wait a couple of more minutes or just 1 minute to see if we get more attendees. Meanwhile, Katrin is going to post a couple of polls we're doing for some market research. If you don't mind answering those, it's just going to take a couple of seconds for where you stand in terms of CRMs. Would be super helpful. Thank you. All right, we see a little bit of movement in the chat. So good morning to everyone in West Coast and US and North America. And hello to you all in Europe. It's getting quite late, it's 6 p.m. I'm not expecting to see anyone from Australia now. That might be a little bit too crazy. But without further ado, we can actually start off the webinar. So once again, thank you so much for joining in. This webinar will be about our new baby product in ChartMogul here, the ChartMogul CRM. My name is Marius, and I joined ChartMogul myself about 2 months ago now, so not that long ago. And while I was searching for a new sort of sales endeavor, I came across this opportunity, and I first thought like, hey, it's a CRM, right? So it's such a crowded market. I don't know what these guys are doing. I'm thinking of getting into this crowded market with HubSpot, Salesforce, and all those giant players out there. So for me, it was okay. That could be a challenge, but after a few conversations with Sarah, the VP of Sales here at ChartMogul, she convinced me, and she actually I started seeing how marrying SaaS metrics together with the ability to communicate customers and the sales team performance can actually bring a lot of benefit for companies growing, either startup, founder-led sales, or like product-led growth companies. So that's super good to see. So during this webinar, we will go through why you would use ChartMogul CRM and how it's sort of going to help you reduce and narrow down a little bit your tech stack, and how the bundle of the products, the analytics together with the CRM, will sort of provide you features so that you can create high lifetime value customers, and so that they would stick with you and sort of ensure your revenue growth. Right, so what we're going to cover during this webinar is, first of all, we're going to look at a few different features. Obviously, you're going to touch on those. We're going to look at different reports specifically for sales and also the opportunity side. Then we're going to look at the overlap of CRM and the analytics. How do they two work together? And after that, we're going to go into, sorry, how to import data and start off with ChartMogul with different existing integrations. And then last but not least, we're going to go along and get into questions and answers, little Q&A session there. Feel free to shoot any questions in the chat right now already or during the presentation, because we have a couple of people from my team who are going to give you answers to them on the fly. Okay, so a little bit more background into why ChartMogul actually started with the CRM, and why would they go into such a crowded market? Well, first of all, we saw in the analytics tool, a lot of customers were actually using little details tab where you can leave some information in to leave links for their CRMs outside of ChartMogul, just to make communication and to react on some important SaaS metrics like churn rate or expansion and capitalize on that. Yeah, and that was a growing demand, and they were like, why don't you make a communication feature for that? So that's what we did, and we gave the ability for customers to contact their customers via the ChartMogul UI, and that's how the CRM actually started. But we did identify even more problems within why we should actually start with a CRM. So I'm going to share my screen now and walk you through a couple of slides before I start showing you how ChartMogul CRM looks in action. So we saw that if there are a lot of different softwares used within a tech stack for the companies, that creates a little bit of inconsistency. First of all, if CRM or the success platform are sort of isolated from all the other, the rest of your tech stack, for the CRM, that would, your sales team wouldn't be equipped with any of the relevant data that they could target, right, or take action to. Same for the success platform. If you cannot act as an account manager looking into the right context, a lot of things could slip through the cracks, and that can possibly hurt you on that client retention numbers. Reporting, of course, ChartMogul is very strong in this part, but if you're importing data from your billing system into somewhere else and then using another CRM, there's a lot of inconsistency, and ChartMogul, because of that, solves that with a few factors, let's say. So you get comprehensive insights into your company's financial health when everything's together. You get improved alignment between sales, marketing, and customer success. So all of your departments sort of work together for a common goal, which is to increase your revenue, instead of one being isolated and not knowing and not getting access to right information. So people might feel scared to share with the rest of the team. And then that comes more from the subscription analytics part, but you get transparent investor reporting on financial performance. So looking into these, that's why the CRM sort of was rolled out, and now we're 1 year and a few months in, and I believe we have over like 20 CRM customers. A lot of them self-serve, a lot of them I got onboarded by the VP of sales, and I was the first sales rep to be hired to sort of take the CRM into the market a little bit further. But really, really nice to see how fast this is growing. And since we have a lot of engineers, definitely a lot of features are getting released. Even since I joined for those 2 months, we're getting new features almost every week. And it's super great to see how the workflows improve. And super happy to share with you guys that today. So I will get into sharing how the CRM actually looks like. But before we do, let's actually imagine a scenario, okay? So imagine a fictional company, Lead Booster AI, even though I'm sure a company like this probably exists because every AI domain or name is taken already. Imagine that this company sells 3 different plans to the B2B space, like base, premium, and maybe volume plan or something like that, and they're offering lead generation services. They have the option for customers to choose between a monthly or an annual commitment. They're product-led growth, so obviously customers can just start using the product on self-service. They have still a significant amount of inbound, so a lot of demo requests, and they do have a lot of free trials, and it's a quite small sales team. 2 sales reps that you have for 2 regions, 1 account manager, and then 1 sales manager to sort of look over that sales team performance. Imagine the scenario while we go through the ChartMogul CRM in action, as I know there are a lot of different companies who are probably going to watch this webinar or the recording of it, and I think this one sort of suits the most. So without further ado, let's get into it. So for some of you who have used ChartMogul, this might look a little bit familiar, but here essentially in the first 3 tabs, normally what you have is the subscription analytics part. For me and for Lead Booster AI, customers tab is where the CRM sort of starts off. So you have, don't get fooled by the name here, customers, right? That might be like, hey, I'm using the CRM, I might want new clients. That's not at all the case. In here, you have customer records of active subscribers. You have any churned customers that were your customers in the past. You do have new leads that started free trials with you. And you can also have any new leads who, for example, have been collected by your Intercom widget and be sent to ChartMogul. So something that is like indicating a little bit of interest into your product, but it's still a new lead, no contact whatsoever, and they haven't used your product. As you can imagine, in this case, there might be a lot of customer records, and that might throw you off because it's a lot to take in, right? And a lot of visual clutter. So for that, we do have filters. Lead Booster AI has 2 sales reps, and for them, the main goal right now is to reach out to new leads. So what do you do from here? They are trying to organize their lists a little bit differently. And first of all, they want to give their sales reps a little bit of a workflow. They will add a filter, and first and foremost, they will go into status, and they will only choose the new leads to be contacted, right? So I'm already at 3,000 customers instead of 4K. Then I will choose a region because, like I said, they have 2 AEs that work 2 different regions. So Ismail's, one of their AEs, is working in Western Europe, and we're down to 175 customers, or leads, which is a fair amount for a sales rep to start working, right? What you can do from here on, and lead boosters managers can do, is click on the bulk edit selected, and assign an owner. In this case, that would be Ismail's. They would click the checkmark, update, and then from there on, Ismail's would have all these leads to himself. Now we can remove these filters, and then we can take a look on the list on the left. You can save those lists over here, by the way. So they can be private or public, doesn't matter. Now, from Ismail's point of view, one of the sales reps that is going to be working the West Europe region, he can go into My New Leads to start up his day and start looking at what he should prioritize. Now, it's a common language across any sales team, and every sales rep would agree that it depends on how fast you reach out to customers upon their reach out, or how fast you react to free trials, or how fast do you assist them. That sort of converts into how fast you close that lead, or how likely it is that you will close those leads. So from here on, Ismail's wants to look at the leads that are possibly in a current trial. So Lead Booster AI has 30 days of free trial, which means that let's go into free trials. Let's see that this specific company started the trial on July 1st. They're about midway through it, a little bit further in. Ismail's going to start making contact with them. So he will go into the customer's record. And from here, you can immediately shoot an email to that customer about trials. So free trials. Hey, I noticed you're using free trials. It's about to be ending. Maybe you would like to see how our paid plans could actually support your workflows or support in any way the product can, you're making use of it, right? Once he's done with it and he sends that email, he can immediately put this lead to be a working lead. So sort of a funnel for the leads. He can change the status into a working lead. Once he does this, he can then go back to the customer list, and whenever he's wanting to sort of touch base on what he worked on before, you can then go on working leads and see all those accounts within this part of the funnel in the leads history. Now, you can do a lot more things within the customers tab, of course. You can log calls, and by the way, emails can be connected to your Gmail account, so that will be synced across the inboxes. And you can use templates like I already showed. You can leave notes. Perhaps any wants to leave notes for the account manager specifically to understand how difficult it was to onboard them. And later, the account manager can come to the customer record and only leave the notes so he or she could see what was indicated by the AE to them. After Ismail has sent an email, he might want to follow up in a couple of days, because as we all know, it takes a few tries for a customer or a lead to get to respond to you. So from here, you can actually leave a task for himself to follow up in a couple of days at a certain hour. Once you click save, this will immediately be sort of reminded with color coding under the tasks object here on the left-hand side panel once he goes into that. You can also leave tasks for other people. Maybe he's covering for someone who is currently on vacation, but they're going to overlap, and Ismail is going to go on vacation. He wants the other AE to see this lead, so he will just make a task for them. So a good way to communicate internally and sort of to give yourself reminders, right? What else in here? You have contacts, so something that is like hard-coded information, what your customers are going to indicate within your product's UI. This is where all of that is going to live. You can collect additional details like your website location, and you can also collect your custom attributes, and think of them as additional data points for you to collect information that is maybe helping you further divide and segment sort of different customer lists or reports. So Lead Booster AI decided that they have to look at the industry because it massively changes across industry who's buying their products. In this case, they would start to collect the industry custom attribute, and maybe Ismail's on his workflows could prioritize these customers first. Last but not least, we have tags. There are also additional data points. These could be used, for example, Lead Booster AI, they're attending a lot of conferences, and the sales manager from them, she's getting attendee lists a month out before the conference begins. What you might want to do is look at all those customers that are attending, put according tags to them, and then tell their sales team to look at these tags specifically, filter their customer lists, so they could be contacted and meetings can be arranged before they attend those conferences. So, and one way to use them as well. Now, we also have the opportunities, and this is a crucial way to sort of catch up with what new business you're forecasting to close, or your AEs are forecasting to close in a given period. So let's pretend that this is a working lead. Ismail's is already far out. They had a meeting or two, and there's an evaluation stage. So the prospect is going to make a decision and very soon. First of all, Ismail's is going to come in here and choose the sales pipeline. So let's pretend this is their product. He will choose a stage evaluation. He will choose a close date for when he thinks the deal is going to close. Best to do it with a safety, of course. And then the MRR this business is supposed to bring. And then he will put in a win likelihood that he thinks this lead will close. And this can be updated as the deal progresses, of course, as well as we in ChartMogul, for example, use forecast category reports, and we move opportunities through this pipeline to sort of know how committed the customer is to buying. So pipeline could be, we don't know, it's early to say. Best case would be, okay, this could close anytime, and then committed would be, we're just waiting on the customer to see when or how many seats. Let's put in a pipeline for now. And you can add as many more fields to sort of have more context to those opportunities. This is an equivalent to deals in HubSpot for those who have used HubSpot, by the way. Once you are created with the opportunity, you can look at them in the opportunities tab here on the left-hand side. This is where you can also make a little bit organized. You can get yourself a little bit organized to see only your opportunities. And basically, this is nice just to see for the whole team what you're going to close, or perhaps a sales rep can have meetings with his manager one-on-one and look at all the won opportunities and see, okay, what could have been negotiated better for a better deal, or maybe all lost opportunities. What could have been done better within those leads? And you can just easily click into that and just go over the communication that Ismail's had with that lead and much more. So the manager will always be updated with the context. There are some additional filters. There are additional columns that you can include as well if you'd like to make it a little bit of a more tailored view for yourself and your workflows. That's up to you. Now, going into reports, and I will touch first on the opportunity forecasts, and I will go for only one of them. The rest of it, the forecast category report, I encourage you to just go on ChartMogul, start the trial if you haven't yet, and just go for it. Create some opportunities and go have a blast with it. I think it's an interesting report. But the deal stage probability one, and here's how it works. So when we were setting opportunities for Ismail's just before, when we were in the customers tab, we could choose the win likelihood of that opportunity. And here, I will see the sum basically of, I can drill down further into this and see how many deals we're talking about here, or opportunities. I can see that Ismail's has 2 leads accounting to 1,300 USD with a win likelihood of 20% of them closing. So what this report will do is they will multiply the USD by 20% in this case, and this is what's sort of expected to contribute to the global MRR. There it is, the deal stage probability. We will touch on a couple more reports. First of all, I would like to go into the pipeline funnel analysis. This report will help you understand how your leads move through different stages. I showed you that we have working leads, qualified or disqualified leads, and later those qualified leads become opportunities, and those opportunities can also have a pipeline. So here, it's a healthy way to see how those are moving through stages and what is the current stage right now in the last 90 days, for example. So your new leads become working, then they become qualified. You can see how much of them actually progress to the later stages. And then we have self-service, new business. So this is something that's, let's say, free trials or self-service customers who convert into revenue immediately without any sales reps touching them. So we touched on a few reports, and we touched on how Lead Booster AI actually goes through to contact customers. Now, I would like to run you through how the products, analytics, and the CRM actually overlap. So let's pretend that Lizzie, an account manager from Lead Booster AI, she was hired to combat churn because Lead Booster AI was experiencing a lot of churn in the company. As you know, with most AI companies, people come and go. They just try it out, and then there's so much tools to discover. Why stick with one? But she wants to get to the bottom of it. So she can use one of the reports where those two products overlap. And that would be one of them is committed MRR forecast. She would see here on August 2024, taking into account, let's say, annual commitments. So customers who have bought a plan in August 2024 for a year or before, a year before, and who already sets in their billing that they're canceling, so they're not going to renew. What Lizzie can do from here is combat that churn, and it's as easy as clicking and drilling down into the churn, seeing which of the records or which customers have this scheduled, and then by holding Command, she can open up every single tab and then immediately shoot a churn email as well from their template. Maybe offer a discount, maybe just get them on a call and understand what's the reason they're leaving your company or Lead Booster AI. So that's one of the ways of how fast this streamlined tech stack actually communicates with each other, the SaaS metrics with the CRM. I'll give you another example, okay? We can go into cohorts. I don't know if you have ever used cohorts, but essentially cohorts is just a very fancy word for the word groups. This report helps understand value, customers' lifetime value over time. So you can see which month, and the cohort value just signifies how much people in this group. So in this sense, it would make 20 people started the subscription in July 2023. And same here in November 2023, there's 34 people who started subscription with a specific product. And Lizzie wants to know why in November 2023, on the very first month, the customers haven't even been for a month, they already churned. She wants to know whether this was because of their customer support lack of people within the department. Yeah, they were down to, one was on maternity leave, the other one was sick. Or she wants to know whether the web designers did something and possibly screwed up the user interface a little bit. So it was a little bit harder for self-service customers to begin and get into the product. This was a long time ago, but she still wants to get to the bottom of it. So she can already drill down into here, look at those 8% that actually churned on the first month of the subscription, and then go into the customer record and make appropriate contact. And then she will know and maybe report back to the team. So those are a couple of ways of how the systems overlap. Now, we touched on a few reports. So for opportunities and the ones that are overlapping, but to see it all in sort of an overview, because you do have reports that are very crucial to you that you want to see on an everyday, but you don't want to click into every single one, you can go to dashboard. And what we recently released here in ChartMogul is the ability to have multiple dashboards across users or across teams. And as you can see here, whereas before you would only have one dashboard with usually the important SaaS metrics, now you're going to have one for sales too. So a sales manager in Lead Booster AI, she wants to know how the sales performance is towards a Q3 target. She wants to know in which forecast categories current deals actually sit. So, for example, Ismail's is going away soon. She wants to make sure that the committed forecast and that group with those opportunities right now is being nurtured. So let's just hope that Ismail's did everything to sort of get that deal closed, but it's always nice to keep an eye. And again, go into that customer record and see what communication is being done with that customer. So you can tap in just like that. But next to those reports, you can also have customer lists. So all the active opportunities, and you can filter them down however you want them, maybe by industry, because Lead Booster AI wants to sell to a specific industry because they're the most likely buyers. So you can have a list like this just right here, which will indicate your priority where you would like to sell. Or the activity overview of email sent, calls, opportunities added, and so on. Account managers have their own specific tab as well, perhaps of the people who haven't logged in a while to their accounts, as that could signal a little bit of an alert, and you might want to get in touch and sort of retain them. And salespeople can have their individual dashboards as well. So how is my MRR contributing, and sort of how far I am from the goal? What are my active opportunities right now, and what is my priority? So you can always dive into those reports. So we touched on a lot of things, how Lead Booster AI actually set up their customer list and got organized, how their sales rep developed workflows, and how their managers have an overview of that, and how an account manager can combat churn through the use of various reports as well. Now, I think it's nice to know how to get started on ChartMogul, because we already know how to work with it, right? In the data and config wheel right here, you can see we have a lot of different data sources that we can upload. For those of you who are not aware of the subscription analytics platform that we have, ChartMogul Subscription Analytics projects SaaS metrics by capturing data from invoices that are coming from billing systems through our native integrations or API that they can use, or even manual CSV upload, CSV files that you can upload into ChartMogul AI. So it reads it and then it projects it, right? For the CRM part, those customer records still exist because you're uploading customer information, right? Company information. So you can record free trials with your Stripe account if a customer is registering on your website and giving you the credit card details. It will read that information and it will show ChartMogul CRM, these people started a trial. It's nice to prioritize them. Okay, so you can add this data in, of course, just for CRM as well. You can choose one of the data sources. These are our native integrations. So for example, you're using Intercom to collect customer information on your websites through a widget there. What you can do when a customer reaches out and he inputs his email, hey, this is me, I'm contacting you, I would like to use your services, but I'm not too sure about it. That will be stored in Intercom, and that native integration that we have will send all the information into ChartMogul, so that would either enrich your customer contact or customer record, or it will create a new one, so you have a new CRM lead. Okay, I'll show you how that looks. Intercom integration, let's name it like this. This is a fairly simple setup, as you can see. You can connect your Intercom account, and it will just immediately connect it with ChartMogul. And then you can select whether you want to upload companies, leads, or contacts. And both of these have subcategories with a lot of information that this can be enriched with, right? If you're not using one of our native integrations, that's totally fine. Like, you can go in and create a custom source. Let's say you're using Google Sheets right now. You create a custom source, name it Google Sheets. From here on, you can import any subscription data or customer data as well. All you have to do is download sample files. We give you templates of how you correctly map your data from your own servers. So you can do that by just copy pasting into certain columns, and it's fairly quick. I've done it myself a few times, but this is a non-technical way, let's say. So you can either do that, and it's going to upload everything within minutes, or you can make use of our API, and of course that will require some engineering resources, as well as maybe it could cost something for you. But that's how you upload data. And you might be thinking, hey, so there are a lot of data sources. I don't want my AEs or my sales reps to contact the same customer record and not knowing that they're contacting the same customer record. We want to avoid that situation, right? That's what ChartMogul does really perfectly. It sort of blends all data sources and makes sure nothing is duplicated. And you can do that by using the automations feature right here. So you can add an automation and make it say that whenever ChartMogul recognizes there's a duplicate by either external ID, and hopefully you have that as a universal ID over a few of your platforms and softwares. If you don't, you can still choose domain or company name. So when it will recognize that those records match with another record, you can add a condition if you want, and you will perform this action, merge duplicate customers. And you can click save, and whenever this will be toggled on, as you see this is off, but when it's on and you're uploading some data source with a certain amount of data, you will see that those customer records will be merged. So it's an easy way to keep the data clean, let's say. Yeah, but this is ChartMogul in a nutshell. I would definitely encourage you to book a meeting with the follow-up email that's going to be sent out after this webinar. That will have my calendar link as well, so we can talk about your specific case of how ChartMogul works. The last thing I want to touch on is the pricing. Currently, the pricing stands at $39 per CRM seat, but up till now, you can still, under admin, and you will have a billing page here in your account, you can make use of free CRM seats for free. So the only limitation there is that you will have a watermark saying for emails sent from ChartMogul. That's all it is. The pricing can change soon, but at the moment it's like this. And of course, I'm super happy to walk you guys through this, and do book a meeting with me if you'd like. From here, we can move on to the Q&A session. Thank you guys for listening. I guess if there's no questions, my team was actively working to answer any that were during the webinar, so I'm super grateful for them. They're just asking whether ChartMogul can do automated email sequences. That's something that is on the way. We currently do not offer sequences. We saw that in the B2B SaaS space that is not like a very big priority at the moment, but we do understand why you would need it. And it is probably coming in 2025. We'll build it. Yeah, about the sequences as well. We do have a feeling that it sort of hurts sales interactions. I've used closed CRM in the past myself, and I did use a lot of those features that were meant for a lot of cold outreach, and sequences was one of them that I used. But I did find that most rewarding deals actually came from simple functionality and really personalized emails. That's why that was something that we moved away from here in ChartMogul, but we will build it though, as we see a growing demand for it. Yuri also asked, can set up round robin with automations? Not exactly sure what kind of round robin logic would you like to see? Anton was asking, is there a way to book a Zoom meeting or an on-site meeting with a lead that will sync with a Google Agenda? So no, not yet. We're using Calendly, and those meeting confirmation emails are actually synced directly to the customer record. Our team uses notes to record relevant information from virtual or in-person meetings. Hopefully that answers it. Thomas, do you collect consent, or how is this to be considered in regards to GDPR if you are located in Europe? So hi, Thomas. Typically, our customers are using ChartMogul CRM for an inbound motion. So these leads have signed up directly for a trial or expressed interest proactively. You can store this data in a custom attribute, something that I showed for those extra data points. For example, reason for progressing data. If you want to store and report on this. Yuri is asking whether there is a column Kanban view for opportunities. Currently not, but we're actually seeing that it's a big feature request. I know that customers coming from Pipedrive or so are always very, let's say, addicted to this feature, and I can see why. Um, so yeah, but it's probably going to come back, and it's on the roadmap for later this year. For automated emails, you would need to collect consent, though, Thomas is asking. For net code, yes. For one-to-many, yes. But today, the main use case is one-on-one communications with this. Thomas, in addition for that, we use Customer IO for our email nurturing and marketing automation. If you would like to take a look into this tool, customer.io. I agree with Sarah. We were asked what's the next big thing, what's the next big feature, but we just rolled out the multi-dashboard. So I think that's super nice just to keep an overview. I use it in my day-to-day myself, and I can imagine managers and account managers do too. Integration with Monday app, by the way, I think that's not something on the roadmap at the moment. But as you can see in the chat, we dropped the links for the ChartMogul roadmap for 2024 if you want to look into it. But so far, thank you for the questions, everyone, and thank you for joining the webinar. Do book a meeting with me if you want to know how the CRM would work in your specific case.